On today's Fit to Eat, I'll be preparing Asian grilled grouper with Thai dipping sauce and asparagus crawfish almond rice. The host of MPB's Southern Remedy, Dr. Rick deShazo, will be our guest. Registered dietitian Rebecca Turner will share some useful information about gluten. It's going to be a great show, so stay tuned. Welcome to Fit to Eat. I'm your host, Rob Stinson. Today, my guest is Dr. Rick deShazo, the host of MPB's Southern Remedy.
Thanks for having me back.
Hey, it's good to have you back.
I thought you might never have me back.
Unbelievable, huh?
Listen, I've been down your way, and I heard that you're having grouper today, and I caught one down there once.
Yeah. Fishermen always exaggerate about what their
Just
catch
a little
is.
bit.
Well, listen, we have tons of ingredients and a lot of stuff to do. I'm going to put you to work today.
All right.
So you might want to get prepped up over there.
Okay.
And I tell you, this is probably one of my absolute favorite meals. This is something that we're going to set up that could be done for a family of 4. And the neat part about it is you could cook this and eat it exactly when you're done, or you can take it, and we're going to show a finished product, and wrap it and put it in the fridge, and then just pop it in the oven when it really suits the family.
Now, there's grouper and there's not so good grouper.
Well,
can you pre-prepare the grouper too?
Yes, absolutely. All of this could be done ahead. And the neat part is, too, it doesn't have to be grouper. This could be catfish. It could be mahi. It could be trout. It could be any local fish.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Let's go.
So let's go ahead and get started. What I'm going to do is take and make kind of what we're going to dredge the grouper in. And I'm going to actually get a little bit of onion powder in here, garlic powder, and you know, no salt in those. So obviously, I know you're very conscious of no salt, no white flour, you know,
You get
none of
enough
the
in the
sugars.
food. You don't need to add any.
No, you really don't.
Right.
This is some ground peanuts, and for 4 pieces, not much. This is actually rice flour, so gluten-free. And we're going to be talking a little bit later about, you know, some issues that come up with gluten. Then we're going to take and put in a little ground coriander, which is a nice Asian kind of flavoring. Some allspice, gives it that real flavor that you want. And then a little bit of minced garlic in there.
All right.
All right, now here's where I'm putting you to work.
Okay.
All I want you to do is just take this and just kind of stir that all together.
You call this a dredge? That's a coastal term.
Yeah, it really is, because I'll show you why we're saying it that way. Because we're going to take the grouper and we're going to just lightly kind of dust it with this. So, and I've got several extra. I got a couple extra pieces here.
So what is the rice part for? Is that the breading for it?
It really is. It is. Yeah, it actually is. And it actually helps to coat the fish a little bit so it won't stick to the pan when we cook it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, really kind of a neat way to do it. All right, so let's take this now, and I'm going to put it onto the plate. You did a very nice job, by the way.
I've been practicing.
Yeah, I can tell, man. Huh?
That looks like a weapon, actually.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to spread that out, and then we take the fish, and these are just egg whites, okay? We're going to put the egg whites over the fish. So this is something so easy people can do. And then what I'm going to do is pop it here, take them and coat them on both sides, and then lightly dredge this. Now here we have a little sesame oil. Any good Asian dish has a little bit of sesame oil. We're going to put that in the pan, and a little touch of canola. So no more, really, for all 4 pieces, than about a tablespoon total, keeping the fat content really low. All right, let's turn that heat down a little bit. Looks like it may be just a little too hot. And then we're going to try the first piece and put in there. And we'll start throwing all the rest in. So tell me, what have you been working on? What's the focus right now?
Same old, same old. We still got the same problems. We don't know how to eat right.
Well, that's what we're doing here today.
That's right. And a lot of people are watching you, and it's all about, eating healthy and staying healthy because you do that.
Well, I think it's so important that people realize that they can find healthy food by eating non-processed food, you know, where it's just natural. And we're lucky. You know, we have a lot of natural products in this state. We really do.
Absolutely.
So
and,
we'll
you know, everybody thinks you can exercise weight off. That's a very inefficient way to lose weight. It's this part that is the big part so far as weight reduction. Now, cardiovascular fitness is fine for exercise, but you gotta cook right and eat right and portion control.
Yeah, and I tell you what, you're absolutely right. I think one of the biggest problems, excuse me, just 1 second. I think one of the biggest problems is that people absolutely eat too much each meal. So you'll notice these are 5-ounce portions. So it really is not that much food. And that's the important part to me. You know, I really try to watch what we do in that sense, and you know, it helps. And if I tell you what, if you do me one favor, and let's see, our spatula, there we go. Let me grab this and that first piece. Let's see how we're looking here. Oh yeah, see, that's exactly what you want. It's kind of an unusual crust, if you would. And
I always have trouble knowing. I'm pretty good with steaks, which I try not to eat too much of. But I always have trouble knowing when fish is done. Is there a trick on that?
you know, it's really more on time. About 3 minutes aside is plenty. I think most people have a tendency to overcook fish. And, you know, that's why I love doing it on the show, because it's so healthy. But most people are scared to cook it because they don't really know. You know, now you've got the guys who have been fishing their whole life who, you know, eat and cook what they catch the day they get it. And there's nothing better than eating fresh seafood when you get it. But I think that there's so many people that don't know. Now, let's talk about the recipes itself. There's lots of ingredients here. Nobody's going to remember this. So they can easily go to mpbonline.org/fit-to-eat or join the MPB Facebook page and get all of these recipes. So it makes it easy.
So you're going to step it. This looks ready to eat right here.
Isn't it delicious?
It would be delicious.
Yeah,
so you're going to step it up with these to the next level?
Yeah, what we're going to actually do is make this into a family pan meal, if you would.
I see.
And try to have it in a way so that it could either be eaten today, right now, or they could put it in the refrigerator and 2 days, 3 days later, put it in the oven at 350 degrees, say, for 15, 20 minutes, and it would come out absolutely delicious.
So you're picking up your fruits and veggies and other things here,
when you really see, I mean, look at the balance of what you got. You're going to have beautiful vegetables. You've got other seafood, crawfish coming in, some almonds, but we're keeping the fat content down on all of this. So realistically, we're going to use some brown rice instead of your typical white rice. So it goes back to your diet, right? No white. Remember that, all right? You heard it here from Dr. Rick first. White is the problem. Sugar, flour, basically, you know, and that's what you're trying to stay away from.
And you know the nuts are getting to be, even from our perspective medically, more important because the latest data show that a handful of nuts a day cuts your cardiovascular risk to about 30%.
Wow.
Just eating a handful of nuts, no matter what else you do. Of course,
So
you don't want to eat two handfuls.
You're telling me we should go nuts.
Oh, well, we already are. We're here, aren't we? You don't want to eat too many nuts, but just enough, like everything else, portions.
Absolutely. Yep, and I tell you what we're going to do at this point, the fish, you notice what I try not to do is move it around a lot. Because as it gets cooked, people have a tendency to play with it too much and it falls apart. So you want it to stay in nice portion sizes. And this for a family of 4 is great. You notice I got an extra one? Guess who that's for?
Oh, I hope it's for me.
It is for you. You're going to be able to try that.
Great.
We'll have a little bit of fun with that. But the other thing that's really important, I think, is looking at how fresh all the different ingredients are. You know, we talk a little bit about that. I've always tried in my business to make sure all of our ingredients are cooked to order when people come into a restaurant. I think it's so important that you don't have something that was sitting there or that's been processed or that's been, you know, it just, all the nutrients are active when it's fresh. So the key on this is we're going to make this dish up, but when it's actually finished, everything has only been kind of cooked to a, to a 2, they call it, where it's got a little bite to it still. And it just tastes better that way, but it's much more nutritional that way as well.
And the savory part is already in there just from your basic
absolutely.
dredge that you put in there. So.
Absolutely. And if you notice right now, see that fish? It's perfect.
Oh, it looks great.
It really is. It's absolutely perfect. So we've turned the heat off on the pan. I'm going to let them sit in there just to be sure that the center of each fillet is finished. And then the Thai dipping sauce that finishes this dish is absolutely delicious. Kids love dipping sauces. So the key is to make it healthy.
Yeah, I see some of them have high fructose corn syrup in them.
Oh, I mean, can you believe it? I mean, some of the
or
stuff
just corn syrup.
I know.
So you add another 250, 300 calories.
And there's no reason for it. There's no reason for it. There really isn't.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to take a break and go to registered dietitian Rebecca Turner. She's got some great information about gluten that's really important to know, and we were just talking about it. We'll be right back.
More and more supermarkets and health food stores are stocking gluten-free products on their shelves. That's good news for people with celiac disease who, for health reasons, should not eat wheat with gluten. What is gluten? Gluten is a protein found in wheat, barley, and rye. Gluten also shows up in many whole grain foods related to wheat, including bulgur, farro, spelt, and oats. Healthy experts estimate that about only 1% of Americans have celiac, which is a condition caused by an abnormal immune response to gluten, which in turn can damage parts of their digestive tract and prevent important nutrients from being absorbed. Yet, most of the people who reach for gluten-free products don't have celiac disease or even a sensitivity to wheat. The market for gluten-free products is exploding, and many shoppers perceive a gluten-free diet as healthier. But in fact, it just isn't. When you shop gluten-free products, this means you are saying no to many common and nutritious foods. For people with celiac disease, a gluten-free diet is essential. But for others, a gluten-free diet can lack vitamins, minerals, and fiber that's necessary for good health. So how can you know if you have celiac disease? Easy. Talk with your doctor about your concerns and be tested. Anyone, though, can reap many of the positive health effects by eating less gluten found in products with enriched flours, typically found in white breads, white pasta, and boxed meal items. When you remove these types of foods from your diet and you switch to the whole grain varieties, you will ensure you get the nutrients you need with none of the added sodium, artificial ingredients that can leave you a little bloated and sort of digestive tract distressed. Now make the switch to whole grains and your grains will be fit to eat.
Well, welcome back. I tell you what, that was interesting, huh?
Yeah, gluten is a thing that everybody's talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a lot of misconceptions, and to make sure you get a balanced diet, you really need the vitamins, huh?
Right. If you're on a gluten-free diet for whatever reason, so it's only about 1% of the population actually has gluten enteropathy that would put you on a diet for sure. If you're on a diet for whatever reason that's gluten-free, you need to be taking some multivitamins, and you need to talk to your doctor about it.
Yeah, makes sense. Let's go ahead and turn this burner on. And what I'm going to do is have you start our brown rice. Now, this is vegetable stock, salt-free. Okay.
So where do you get this?
This, any superstore. Any superstore. A lot of different brands out there now.
It's vegetable stock. I know they have chicken stock and all kinds of other stock.
And on this one, this is actually a dish that if they were a vegetarian, as I call them, seafood, and they don't eat meat, they could eat this dish. A little bit of brown rice, and the ratio on that, just so you guys know out there, is 3-to-1. All right, so he's going to do that. We have actually, kind of for the purpose of TV, cheated a little bit and actually made a little bit of rice ahead. And we're just going to camp that and let it cook. All right, so now we've got a hot pan here, and we're going to move this over in front of us and have a little bit of fun. This is what's going to go into the rice. So this is our almond, crawfish, asparagus rice.
Sort of like gumbo, isn't it?
And it's delicious, too.
Yeah.
So we're going to put in a little, again, about a half a teaspoon of sesame oil, a little touch of canola oil, not too much. And then I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to hand them to you one at a time.
Right.
And if you'll just have some fun throwing these in.
All right.
We've got green bell pepper, red bell pepper, little bit of spicy peppers, yellow, onion.
Touche.
I mean, it just keeps getting better and better. Some garlic. All right, and now we're going to throw in at the very end. We're holding those to the end, but we're going to put our crawfish in there.
Oh, wow. The good thing.
Let's add a little bit more.
All
huh?
right.
All right,
Better
we're going to have some fun with them.
Right.
All
What
right.
about these nuts?
We're going to wait till the very end,
Okay.
and the last thing I need to do, I love asparagus. I just
too.
absolutely love it. I'm going to cut the asparagus and just show people how simple it is. It's easy to handle it, and then throw that in as well. And that's going to really add a lot of volume for this dish. So it's really a nice family meal. And that's actually what this is all about. So as we do this, we're going to keep cooking this. And I tell you what, you got to admit, is that an incredible aroma?
It's gorgeous.
Yeah,
Gorgeous to look at and great to smell.
And you know, I think that's a big part of eating that people forget about. You kind of eat with your eyes as well as, you know, your taste buds. You really do. So I'm always really trying to focus on making sure the food looks as pretty as it can be. And it doesn't take any longer. It's no harder, you know, so it makes it kind of fun.
There's actually some biology that goes through that, and you're right on target that the receptors for smell and sight and so forth end up in the same pleasure center that makes food pleasurable. So making food look good is important. It's not just a thing that
Interesting.
you restaurateurs do. It makes people more hungry and more satisfied.
Well, you know, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go ahead. I'm going to have you throw those almonds in.
All righty.
And I've got a little fresh cilantro that I'm going to throw in there. And you
Now,
do
how
this.
much do you?
That's about a tablespoon of each, so it's really not too much. Actually, there's about 2 tablespoons, and think about this. This is for 4. This dish is for 4. All right, so as we toss this around, now is where the magic of TV has come in. We're obviously cooking rice, but I've actually got cooked rice, exactly what we put in there. Vegetable stock and brown rice. I'm going to go ahead and add that.
Is that 50-50 ratio? Is that what is this?
That is 3 parts of stock to one cup of rice.
And the ratio of the ingredients to the rice is
About 50-50.
50-50,
Yeah,
yeah.
about 50-50. So you've got a really nice, full.
Boy, it looks so
I mean,
good.
doesn't that look good? Had a crawfish leap out of there. But I tell you what, this is when you do not try to flip the pan.
Right.
So this one, tell you what, why don't you have a little fun
Okay.
just stirring that, and I'll do a little cleanup over here on
Well,
aisle 1.
I'm a cilantro fan. So
Are
this
you really?
Is just, you know,
I absolutely.
I think that's a wonderful
I absolutely
spice.
love it as long as there's not too much. I think it's something so delicious, and you know it's so prevalent in both Mexican, Asian. I mean, you see it in so many different styles of cooking. So it's really versatile. And what's nice about it, they have it at just about every superstore.
Yep.
And they have beautiful, fresh
Well,
products.
that's why I was asking you how much, because I always put too much in there. I don't.
Yeah, that was only about a tablespoon, and
Yeah.
this is enough for 4.
So go on the short side.
Go on the
rather
shorter
than-
side on
okay.
that. Yeah,
All right.
doing a great. I tell you what, he's doing a great job of work. We're going to go ahead and take a short break, and when I come back, we are going to put together a beautiful dipping sauce and finish this plate for the family. It's incredible.
I'm starving.
Come on back.
Fresh at 5 got started in 2012. The Main Street program started the farmers market on Saturdays, actually, it took a little while for them to see that Saturdays weren't going to work as a farmers market for the Clinton community. We realized that Tuesday evenings were going to be a win-win for everybody, a win for the farmers because they prefer a different place to go each night, and then a win for our Clinton community because it just turned out to be a night that worked out for them. We started with somewhere between 8 and 12 vendors back in 2012, and we averaged somewhere between 26 and 30 vendors for the last 2 or 3 years. In 2 hours in Clinton, they can do as much sales as they'll do in 4 hours somewhere else. Our community has proven that they really want to buy locally grown produce, and so that's kind of why we steadily have an influx of vendors. The community loves this event. As soon as we start, we get probably more social media interaction about the beginning of Fresh at 5 than we do anything else. The community just loves this event. They love meeting the vendors, and they love the additional activities that we have going on, and they love the opportunity to support local things going on. This takes place in our downtown, and so our local merchants also receive benefit from having the event right on their doorsteps. We have this kind of what people see as the heart of the community here in Old Town. It's charming, we've got the brick streets, people love this area, and so being able to pull events to this area and just showcase what we have here makes people even more proud of the jewel that is Old Town.
Welcome back. All right, I think we're ready to finish this last portion.
All right.
You ready to see there's a lot of ingredients in this? All right, we're going to take about a tablespoon of chopped green onion.
And this is the dipping sauce you're doing?
This is the Thai dipping sauce, a little cilantro.
Why do you do that? It's already good.
Oh, I tell you, it's just neat. I think kids love to get some flavor that they can dip in.
I got you.
You know? Some dry coconut, sugar-free. Skim milk. Gives it the volume. A little touch of sesame oil just to give it that Asian flavor. Chopped onion.
I noticed that you didn't use soy sauce and you used what's going on with that?
Yep, you know, honestly, the thing is, it's just so high in salt. It really is, and there's really no way around that. Now, this is a little bit of Asian spice sauce, so it's got a little kick, and a little home natural peanut butter.
What's that for?
That just gives it that peanutty flavor that Thai food is so well known for. Little black pepper. And then here, a little vegetable stock, which we've already used, okay? So now, let's talk a little bit now. I know this recipe has got huge amount of ingredients, huh? So don't forget, you can go to mpbonline.org/fit-to-eat to get every one of these recipes, or better yet, they could join the MPB Facebook page. You know, so either way, it really works out well. And I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to have you stir that a little bit more over on the side, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Because I am going to get ready and actually start to plate this beautiful dish. What we're going to do is take and put the rice here. And then I tell you what, if you would, you could actually take and put a little bit in that cup. That'll be what we're going to use. And I am actually cheating and making you your own little plate.
All right.
Yeah, I think it'll be kind of fun.
We can do that.
We'll take one piece and let you have it.
Thank you.
All right, I'll trade you.
Here's the dipping sauce.
And you are more than welcome to try that right now if you like.
I really want to do that.
It is so tasty, huh? I love grouper. It's got to be my favorite.
So do we share this with many people, or
I tell you what, this is something that'll be perfect for a family of 4. So I'm going to come behind you here and get the pan.
I'm not too good an eater today.
That's all right. You know, practice will make it perfect, huh? Now this is what you could take and put in your refrigerator as a casserole pan, and then heat at a later time, and literally have a beautiful meal. Or you could serve it just the way it is and eat it right now, you know? And I think that's one of the nice things is we're really trying to focus on people who don't have time.
Right.
And this is something they could do all ahead and end up having a beautiful dish. But I'm curious to get your comments on this.
You know, it's wonderful by itself. It's wonderful by itself over here. Both of them are wonderful. When you put them together with the sauce, it just sort of adds another level. It's like having multiple dishes at once.
And that's really kind of the idea.
Very interesting.
And think about it. No salt. You know, it's got no real, you know, nothing in there that you can't eat that isn't healthy, that isn't natural. And that's the part that I absolutely loved about it.
Well, thanks for having me. Anytime you want anybody to fill in this program, I'll bring my own fork.
It's a rough job,
I'll bring my own fork.
No, I think it's really important, though, you know, as we talk a little bit more about the health aspect and trying to get away from processed foods, we come back to something like this And I mean, when you look at something that is that beautiful, that's that flavorful, that is made ahead, you could actually have this, pop it in, like I said, keep it, wrap it in foil.
Stick it in the fridge.
Yeah.
For how long would be safe?
Oh, this would last a good 2-3 days.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, in our business, in a restaurant, you would probably have a shelf life of 48 to 72 hours. And even with the fresh seafood, once it's cooked, it's so delicious.
And my experience, limited experience with foods like this is they frequently taste better on the second day than it does on the first one.
Honestly, you're right. You're right. It's true. It really is true. You know, so I think one of the best parts about trying to do something for the family is keeping it, like you said, multi-layers, different flavors. You keep the dipping sauce separate, so that way when the kids come in, I would even eat that fish cold out of a pan. It's still a great snack. So, you know, I've tried to really think to myself, what am I going to have in my house that my kids can go in and easily cook? And man, you put that in the oven and you've got an incredible meal.
One last thought.
Yes.
Every bite has a little bit different flavor because you've got all these different ingredients.
Isn't that amazing?
Every single bite, and they're all good, but you're surprised each time you try it.
That's fantastic.
It's a great dish.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you know,
you.
and I tell you what, thanks for being on. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you.
I want to thank our guest, Dr. Rick deShazo. I'm your host, Rob Stinson. Eat well.